Welcome back to the Dawg House, where we bring you the latest stories from our Bulldog community. In this episode, we're sitting down with two standout wrestlers, Erik and Vince, who made their mark at IHSA state tournament. Erik placed third in his weight class, and Vince took fourth, capping off an incredible season for the Grant Wrestling. We'll dive into their journey, how they got started in the sport, what the season was like, and what it felt to win regionals, and how they battled their way to the podium at state. Plus, we'll talk about the team sectionals, their goals for next year, and what it takes to be an elite wrestler. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of the Dawg House. I'm Ganelle.
I'm Izzy Ellington.
And today we have two members of our Grant Wrestling program. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Erik Rodriguez.
I'm Vince Jasinski.
All right, so we're going to get started. How'd you guys start wrestling? What was that like for you?
Well, I grew up in a household of wrestling. My brothers wrestled growing up, and I was kind of always the one getting bullied because I'm the youngest in my family. So it just kind of took a toll on me, and I started wrestling as a little kid.
My dad's wrestled his whole life, and he just put me in it as soon as he could.
What age did you guys start, around what time?
I think I started around 4 or 5.
I started at 3.
Dang, that's early. Okay, so how would you guys reflect on your season, and what are some highlights that you had?
A highlight for me was taking third. I lost early in the quarterfinals, and I wrestled all the way back and took third. I had a pretty good record this season. I kept my wins or losses under double digits, so that was a good accomplishment for me.
It's okay.
I don't even know. What's the question?
Okay, how would you reflect on your season? What were some good things, what were some bad things? What are just things that stood out to you? What was significant?
Beating Jason Hampton. He beat me twice during a year by 7 and 6 points, and then I beat him in the quarterfinals to place at state.
Okay. So you guys both hit 100 career pins. Congratulations. What was that feeling like? And how was that leading up to that moment? What was that like?
It was pretty nerve-wracking knowing I was going to get my 100th win. I was at the Cheesehead tournament, and it was my last match of the tournament. So I was kind of, there was pressure on me because I didn't want to leave knowing I could have got my 100th win. But once I got it, I was pretty happy, but then it was just kind of a stepping stone in my path. I knew I was going to get it this year, and it was just another achievement of mine.
I was 3 wins away at some random tournament, and there was a duel in between it. If I didn't do the duel, I wouldn't have gotten my 100th win at the county, and I wanted it to be in the finals. I knew I would have had to beat a state placer to get my 100th win, and I ended up pinning him.
Is it I feel I don't have a lot of perspective on 100 wins. Is that an accomplishment that a lot of people reach their junior year or no?
No, most people reach it by their senior year. For Grant history, I think Vince and I are the 26th and 27th person in Grant history to get it.
All right, so you guys went to regionals. How was that winning process like?
It was pretty fun. Vince and I made a challenge for ourselves during the tournament. We had wrestled all of our kids before, so we weren't cocky, but we were confident that we were going to win. So we made challenges for ourselves to make it tougher on ourselves, and that put pressure and it made it more fun.
What kind of challenges did you put yourself through?
We made a challenge to only spend a certain amount of time on the mat for the whole tournament. And Vince actually got it. My finals match took a little bit longer than I expected.
What was the time?
2 minutes for 2 matches, so a minute each match.
I don't even know what that means. I don't know how wrestling works. What is the average time on the mat?
So it's a 6-minute match. There's 3 periods. Each period is 2 minutes. So we wanted to get a pin, which is where you win when you stick them on the mat. And we wanted to do it in a minute or under for 2 matches.
And you wrestled all these kids before, so you knew the competition already.
Yeah.
All right, so you're pretty confident that you were gonna go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys had team sectionals. How was that?
The environment was really crazy. I've never seen a gym that packed before for one of our duels, and how the crowd got up for one of us when we pinned someone, it was amazing. Ian Hernandez probably was one of the highlight of that duel. he was like went into double overtime, I think, with this kid, and afterwards he like screamed and the crowd just roared for him, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good. He wasn't like they were doing it for the team. Our team was doing it for the team, not just himself.
Like, what's the difference between like a team sectional and like an individual? Like, how does that like experience kind of differ?
You're just doing everything for the team. You're trying not to get pinned. You're just like we have guys that get thrown out there to do their jobs. It's like everyone has their own job. We get bonus points, and there's guys that go against like their state placers that try not to get pinned, that give up less points for their team.
I mean, yeah, just pretty much what he said. I mean, individual, it's all about you, what you need, what you want to do, and then for a team, it's not just about you. I mean, you have to go out there and, like he said, either get bonus points or not give up bonus points in the duel. And if you do that, you do your job, and that helps us win the duel.
How was your state experience? Like, talk about like what it was like before your match.
It was really like nerve-wracking. Leading up to like the matches, you kind of get in your own like little like headspace. Either whether that's listening to music or just speed bopping around. Most of the matches you like have like moderate nerves, but the blood round match for me was the most nervous because that's the round where if you win you place, if you lose you're done for the tournament. So that's like probably one of the most nerve-wracking matches for me. But then after that, it's like you just kind of flow with everything, and you don't really like make the match too big or too small.
I was nervous for my first match, and then I beat him. My second match, I was very nervous for, and then I beat him, and then I just wasn't really nervous. I knew I was just gonna battle hard against everyone, and it doesn't matter who it was.
So like your results for state, like how did that like feel after placing?
It felt really good because last year as a sophomore I came up short in the blood round, and that kind of crushed me because I worked so hard for it, and then just seeing like my dreams of being on the podium just like vanish that season kind of upset me. And to be back in the blood round this year and win it and then wrestle all the way back for third is a big accomplishment. And I think there's a picture of me like giving my coaches like a thumbs up during the match because I knew I was gonna win at the end, and I was really hyped for it.
I wasn't really satisfied. I beat a kid, and then he ended up beating me again. And yeah, I just wasn't satisfied.
Okay, so Eric, like you clearly got hurt. Like you got a black eye. Like how did that happen?
So this was my consolation semifinal match. I had wrestled this kid before, and it was like a 7-6 match, I think, going in overtime. So this match was kind of nervous, but I kind of took it to him, and I didn't sit back for him, and I was kind of beating him up a little bit. And there was 10 seconds left of the match, and he ran at me and like kind of just shoved his head in my face and then grabbed my arms and headbutted me 2 more times. And I kind of like initialized my black eye, and then in my third place match, I got hit in the face and just blew up, and then I couldn't see out of it.
Sorry. Oh my god, okay. Did you guys suffer from like any other injuries throughout the season?
Not throughout the season, no. I mean, we never really like did anything like crazy during season or when it came closer to state. When all the injuries happened, it was mainly during like a tournament or duels.
So through your state experience, how have like coaches and like other like team members helped you like get to this point?
I mean, the coaches help us a lot because they don't just coach. They're the coaches that will like jump in and wrestle with you if you need a partner. They'll push you if you need someone to push you. And then like your practice partner is the one who's gonna like really push you the most. I mean, I go with Vince quite a bit, and Vince goes with me or the coaches a lot. So they help us a lot by like it's better when you wrestle with a coach because they can stop you when you're in a certain like scramble or position, and they can like teach you through it.
Yeah, I go with the coaches like nearly every day, and it's just like a good look because you're not going to face anyone better than your coach.
Okay, so sorry. Looking ahead to senior year, like what do you guys like have in store for senior year, and what do you hope to accomplish?
I hope to accomplish. I want to beat my coach's win records. So I think the number one person for most wins in Grant history is Lee Munster, with 187. But I can get up to I think like top 5. I have 123 wins right now, and if I can have another season like this, then I could get to I think like 170 something wins throughout my high school career. So that's a goal I want to accomplish, and then I also want to get on the top of the podium. It was nice to be third, but there's way more room for improvement, and I want to be at the top next year.
I just want to win state.
Oh, is there a max number of wins in the season?
I'd have to ask my coach that.
Do you have any other goals for like senior year besides like getting more wins? Like,
Yeah, I mean, as a team, I want to make the team state. I mean, it felt good to make it to the team sectional, but the job's not done. Like, now we got next year to work for it, and we'll be back, and hopefully we'll bring back a trophy for wrestling.
are there any like seniors that have made like a big impact on your team, and like how is that going to be like when they leave?
Yeah, I mean, all the seniors really had a big impact on our team. They would step up in ways that you wouldn't really imagine. I mean, whether they lost the match or won the match, they would step up for the team big. I mean, one of them quit throughout this, like, during the season, and then he came back and said he wasn't doing it for himself. He said he wanted to do it for the team, and it didn't feel right to leave the team. And then even, like, one of the seniors, like, if we knew the younger sophomore kid was going to beat that kid, we would tell the senior to, like, sit out and without questions asked, he would do it because he knew he was for the better of the team. And losing them is going to be a big impact on our team, but I think we'll manage.
Oh, do you guys plan on wrestling like after high school?
I plan to, yeah. Whether it's D3 or D1, I just want to be on a mat when I get out of high school.
Yeah, I plan to wrestle in college.
Your sister was very successful in wrestling at Grant. How has that pushed you to be better?
It hasn't.
Oh man, alright.
Sorry.
Okay.
Does it like even like helped you want to be like? Or, like,
Any
she went for-
inspiration, like anything, like?
No, I train for myself.
Okay, period. Alright.
Okay. Thanks. Do you have any advice for future wrestlers?
Go all in. That's like when I say go on, I don't mean just like wrestle every day. I mean like actually buy into what the coaches say. They're not there just to give you advice. They're there to coach you up and teach you more about wrestling because they know more about wrestling than you do. So go all in and listen to your coaches.
I'd say do off season. That's where you make the biggest gaps on like the average wrestlers and like becoming elite. Because all the elite kids do the off season, and the regular kids just end their season when the season ends. That's how you beat them.
Would you recommend doing like outside of school wrestling as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is outside of school wrestling for you guys?
It's pretty fun. I mean, every year we have to qualify for a national tournament, Fargo. It's in North Dakota. It's probably one of the hardest high school tournaments there is in the country. And that's what all off season is. Like, we train to qualify for Fargo and then hopefully to get an All-American status.
Yeah. It's better to do off season because like you get these looks. It's like all the elite kids, so you're just going against like nationally ranked kids, state champs from all these other states. So it's like losing's good because you're getting that good looks.
Are there like scouts like that are also there or like that watch?
Yeah,
Like
just like
Fargo.
outside of school wrestling, like grant you like other opportunities, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's probably more scouts at the bigger tournaments we do on the off season than there would be at like regular high school tournaments we go to. And I think that brings a lot more opportunities for like getting notices by colleges and stuff like that.
How do you guys get there? Like, do you travel alone? Do you travel with like your coaches and your team? Like, how does that work?
For Fargo, we normally try to travel together, so whether like our coach drives us or like one of the parents drive us. We normally try to drive together. If we can't, then we'll meet up somewhere, and then our coach always gets us like to be able to room with each other. Cause in Fargo, it's like it's the Illinois national team, so like a bunch of Illinois wrestlers who qualified for Fargo, like train together and stuff like that. So he normally gets us a room with our teammates.
The head coach of the Fox Lake Wrestling Club, Coach Quirk, he takes us everywhere. Like he drove me to North Dakota and a bunch of other wrestlers, and rented like an Airbnb, and he just took us everywhere, like Minnesota. He just takes us around the country.
So like obviously your wrestling seems like very, very long with like high school wrestling and outside school wrestling. So how do you manage like school and your health and just like being like an all around person?
Well, it is super long. Our coach knows that sometimes we need a rest day, so we don't have practice every day in the off season. I think it's like 3 days a week. And then sometimes we'll do like stretches after practice just to make sure like everyone's stretching and making sure our bodies stay healthy. Our coaches recommend like ice baths and icing in Mallory's room when we can, so we can stay healthy and keep competing at our best. He doesn't know.
What? School's easy.
How do you manage your time?
I just wrestle.
No sleep, no eat, like
I just sleep, eat, wrestle.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, put that on a t-shirt, alright? I don't know, I feel like that's good. I feel like that was a lot of insight. That was good. Okay, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I hope you guys had a good experience. Thank you. You guys had very good answers, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That wraps up this episode of the Dawg House. Eric and Vince, congratulations again on an incredible season. We can't wait to see what's next for you both in your senior year. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow us on Spotify and YouTube so you never miss a new release. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Dawg House.